then they don't know who Jackson is.
An outsider shout.
He's got one more season to impress Klopp, otherwise
We've had.
Jed Spence.
Oh, good Lord.
He's ripping our defenders, like twisting them, turning them. So,
And you're going to be shocked with this one, maybe.
Go on. Hey guys, welcome back to another roundtable discussion here on DR Sports. We've got the roundtable, we've got the experts. Now let's talk about what needs to be spoken about today, gents. Okay, remember, like the video, comment with your thoughts on the following question and give us your answers. But boys, today I'm asking you, 2 players, one from your club, one from another club, who are going to exceed expectations, go past what you think they're capable of this season. Again, play along at home. So a name from each of your own clubs, please, and then we'll delve into... And the reasonings why, and then we'll delve into the second player. Let's start with Matisse first.
my team, I'm going with Jackson up front.
Nicholas Jackson.
I think, again, it's a low money kind of signing, low cost. A lot of people have kind of overlooked him.
32 mil, was it?
Yeah, even Chelsea fans were overlooking him, you know, because they were like, oh, we need a big name. We need
Unless it's 75 mil.
We need
you
a
guys
Vlahovic, we need a Lautaro Martinez. But you look at what Højlund's potentially going to go for. You look at how much people are costing. This guy from Villarreal had basically the back end of last season. He's coming this pre-season. He's smashing in the goals. He's getting assists as well. And he just looks like a complete forward. His hold-up play's been good. He's got a couple of step-overs, a little bit of dribbling. He's put the ball in the back of the net. So I'm saying Jackson because at Chelsea, we're on the floor for goals. So if anyone comes in and puts goals in for us, they're gonna get the attention for sure. It's easy.
Nicholas Jackson, again, did really well at Villarreal, got to the Champions League semi-final. That kind of Villarreal team is having their own regen now. A lot of their stars are leaving, Pau Torres, the Jacksons, etc. But I think when he's come into Chelsea with a slightly lower price tag than what the other guys have come in for, naturally you think, well, let's just see how he does, because there's not mountains and mountains of pressure on him like a Lukaku, like a Torres, a Drogba, a lot of strikers, a Morata, who have had the curse of being Chelsea's main goal scorer. But I think if he comes in and gets 10 goals, even 10 to 15, handful of assists, I think you could say he's done well, solid. But the question is, over-exceeding, is he definitely your guy that you look at? Because obviously he's got to exceed your expectations. What are your expectations of him, and will he go past those?
I think my expectations of any striker for a top team that create the amount of chances you should create is you need to be aiming 15 goals. I think that's the aim, and I think he could get that.
Nunez got that in his first season.
I think he can get that. So I think he will hit and it potentially exceed the expectations. And I'm more talking about the expectations of people outside of Chelsea, because now we're watching him close. We're like, oh, he could be something. I know rival fans, then they don't know who Jackson is. So if he comes and actually does that, people will be like, wow.
And that can be a massive advantage sometimes. Who's this guy? Oh, he's just scored out.
Mainstream media, they definitely know who he is. Like there's no pressure on him whatsoever.
Yep. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Nicky, a player at your club. Scamacca.
Yeah, I think he a lot of problems last year. Failed to settle, looked quality at times, didn't get enough time on the pitch.
Rumours that he was going to leave this summer?
He could still, but if I was David Moyes, I'd be doing everything in my power to keep him, because he's looked tidy.
There's definitely something there.
Yeah, there's definitely something there, and if he can get players around him that complement his style of play, I think he could be a real world beater. I really do. He's got something about him. But I've got another one, actually, an outsider shout, which could surprise a few people. Someone I think that could do surprise a few people this season, could do a lot better than he has been, is Thomas Souček.
No, that's a very rogue shout.
Talk to me.
That's a rogue
Declan Rice
shout,
leaving. Look, Thomas Souček came in, and I think he was very one-dimensional, but he came in and he was a bit of a revelation to the team. He was exactly what we needed at the right time.
Breath of fresh air.
There is a breath of fresh air. That's one way to put it. But there is like little rumblings from the West Ham sort of insiders that Declan Rice's want to push his game forward and to go forward more restricted Souček's role in the team, and he got sort of sacrificed to let Declan express himself a bit more. But with Declan now gone, we will see whether this was true or not. So he could get the role back that he had when he first came into the side, and he could exceed.
But if West Ham going for James Ward-Prowse, a Conor Gallagher, is he going to play?
There's rumours that he may be the captain. Who? Thomas Souček.
Wow.
He could be the new captain.
Okay. Well, you've named two players there. Let's go to Liverpool now. Curtis Jones. again, there were rumours. I remember in 2021, I remember hearing from an insider saying he's got one more season to impress Klopp, otherwise he's run out of patience. And I think the second half of last season in particular...
You saw that, yeah.
Bro, I was at the Leicester game. He scored 2 goals in 5 minutes. Really important goals in other games. Good finishes as well. And I think after all these 6 midfielders have left us, people are looking at him going, this might actually be your time now. Again, we're looking to bring in Lavia, Szoboszlai, McAllister looks to be the set midfield with Thiago, Elliott, Jones pushing on to try and, get ahead of them. But again, last season was definitely his best season for Liverpool. And the weird thing is, him being a Scouser, it's weird because there's not rumblings to say he's our guy now. And that's why I'm putting him in this topic, because I think he could be the guy that steps up. It's maybe even shouts if Trent and Virgil are off the pitch that he's the captain, being a local lad. So they'll not every game, obviously, the ones that he plays in. So I'm going to go for him in terms of, I think he got 6 goals last season in all comps. I'm going to say he gets 8 to 10.
These captain shouts are blowing my mind today.
No, but I'm saying if the captain and the vice captain aren't on the pitch,
I would still expect
the local
someone
lad
else,
gets the armband, in my opinion.
Really?
In my opinion, Bro, he's our longest serving midfielder now at the club.
That's mad.
Yeah, I was there at his debut when he scored that rocket against Everton.
Mad.
So I think maybe this year, after a few years of slight, in and out of the team, he had a horrendous eye injury which kept him out for about 5 months. But I think, he's got a great feeling in him. Klopp obviously loves him. He's great around the place. So I'm going to stick his name in for someone that could over-exceed expectations. The other one, Darwin Núñez. Second season was excellent at Benfica after a average first season. I think he's got 16 in all comps for Liverpool this year. I've said it many times, and I'll be crucified on this channel if it doesn't happen. For me, this is the season where he gets 20 plus in all comps, maybe even more than that.
Yeah.
And he almost has to because of the price tag. So I'm going to go with them two.
Oh, I hear that. For Spurs, I think I would go Dejan Kulusevski. I think he's one who last year underwhelmed a little bit with injuries.
Because he started off
lack
brilliantly.
Of fitness.
In
Yeah,
January.
I think he got 2 goals and 7 assists at the end of the season, which for me aren't really great numbers when you look at the type of player he is. I think you're looking at potentially Kane leaving. Son's kind of declined a little bit. There's going to be that bit more onus on him to kind of step up. And I think now, having been in the Premier League year and a half, we've seen flashes and glimpses. But 18 months ago, Spurs fans were putting him in conversations with Saka. Over the past 12 months, the gaps open up a little bit.
No conversations aren't around anymore.
Yeah, we need to close that gap again. I feel like this is a season where he needs to put up serious numbers, serious performance. Almost like I am the new Tottenham, if you like. That's what I want to see from him. But then another one, I think the left back coming in, Destiny, is going to be a surprise one. Not many people know about him. Young Italian kid playing left wing back last year for Udinese. Incredible talent, technique, crossing, finishing, defending, strength, speed. He's got it all. So I'm excited to see how he can adapt to the Premier League. And I think we're switching from the back 5 back to a back 4. So to see now Pedro Porro and him on either side, see how they adapt to the fullback.
Is he going to start?
He's going to start, I think, yeah, because you've got
Tottenham
Reguilon and
tried
Sessegnon.
and failed with a lot of fullbacks in recent years.
100%.
So maybe the expectation isn't big for a fullback.
Exactly. So I'm quite excited to see what he can bring, because we've had Perisic, we've had Sessegnon, we've had
Jed Spence.
Oh, good Lord. We've been through so many over the past
Reguilon.
couple of years. I'm hoping he can come in and finally give us a bit of solidity, youth, and all the reports about him prior to coming, we're talking about he's one of the best Italian prospects. So Kulusevski, in terms of going forward, Destiny in terms of at the back.
Yeah, with all due respect to him, I think, like we were saying earlier, Matisse, with Jackson, if no one actually really concretely knows what you are, what your game is, you can actually benefit from that if you play well. Yeah. Let's all name a player that for another team that is going to exceed expectations. We all know our own clubs, but who do you think in the Premier League in general is going to, lift up some trees next season when we didn't think they might do?
I think Pedro at Brighton from Watford.
João Pedro.
Ooh,
Yeah.
good shout.
That's a great shout, that is.
He is. I got a glimpse of him there. I remember him before at Watford, but I got a glimpse of him again in the pre-season, and he changed the whole
Won
attack.
a penalty for
Won
Brighton.
the penalty, set up the other goal, and he was a handful, and he was ripping our defenders, like twisting them, turning them. So he's perfect for Brighton, because again, I know Ivan Ferguson's obviously a talent, but he's very young still. They're going to want someone else who can carry the kind of goal load. And they missed a lot of chances last season. They had great football from the first phase through to the middle. Matoma cooking up. You've got, obviously Enciso, but you need the finisher up there. And if he can put the ball in the back of the net and be consistent, he could rack up some serious goals because they create chances. They play great football. It's like playing for a top side, the way that they play.
He's going to be playing in Europe as well, isn't he?
Yeah. So I think a big season for him potentially.
It's a great shout, that.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed. Nicky?
Well, actually, I got 3.
Go on.
I love it.
And I was sitting there thinking, I couldn't think of one, and it just so happens, right? And this is coincidence that it's a player from each one of your clubs.
Lovely.
that you support. So, first one I'm really looking forward to seeing is Nkuku. I think he's a super player, and I think they've got a good deal, Chelsea. Yeah, and I think he could hit the ground running. Second one, I agree with you, Darwin Núñez. I've always backed Darwin Núñez. He's got all the tools.
I remember in the chat we had in the Pie Match Shop, you said...
I think he's got all the tools to be a top player, and if he can put them together, I think this season maybe, and you're going to be shocked with this one maybe.
Go on.
Richarlison.
Wow. I'm not shocked, but...
Richarlison. I think Richarlison has got a lot to prove, and I think with Kane possibly moving on, he could see that as an opportunity to sort of establish himself, and look, I think he played well at times last season. He wasn't the greatest, but he played well at times. You could see he was really, really trying. He's
trying too hard.
Too hard, yeah. To sort of implement himself on games and that. But with an opportunity like if Kane moves on, I think he could take that by the scruff of the neck and want to sort of prove his worth. Yeah. So they're 3 players that I would, I'm not saying I'm going to be 100% backing them because that doesn't benefit me, but they're 3 players that...
Yeah, you're taking your West Ham hat off and putting on your PL hat.
That could have good seasons next season.
Again, we could name 3 or 4 each. I'm going to go with one, and he plays for Tottenham. And I think because he's been injured for so long, people have almost forgot about him, forgot how good he was before he got injured. Bentancur.
My guy.
I'm going to stick him down.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad.
I knew you'd like that one. But again, because we're talking about expectations, there's no expectations from you when you've been injured. And I think so unlucky. Was it Bournemouth away last season? So it was horrible.
And he was in great
And he was
form
banging
as well.
them in.
I think the pressure's
not the most physical player ever, I'll say that, but he's been what you've been lacking, creativeness in the midfield.
I think the pressure's going to come off some of these players as well, because there was a lot of focus on them being in that top 4 but not being the team that's won a trophy. Now they've sort of dropped out of that, and the focus has gone from Tottenham back to Arsenal. I think they could benefit because...
I fully agree. The narrative's almost changed from when are you lot going to win silverware to now, alright, you lot stable.
Like,
you guys okay? Are you okay? Right, are you still alive? Are you with us? So it's kind of the one I would go for, Mason Mount. I think
a lot of expectations on him though now.
I don't know. I think people are expecting him to not do well. And the fact that it's a role change as well, I think it's actually going to benefit him and bring out the best of his attributes. I've always thought when you look at Mason Mount, he's got all the makings of a number 8.
So what is the expectations for him now?
Well, I think now people are still expecting to see the Chelsea type of player that they were seeing. But I think you're going to see a whole different type of Mason Mount.
Ghosted in pre-season,
I don't even think you're looking at numbers. I think he's going to become a player who you have to almost eye test, because he's almost going to be a double pivot with Casemiro. I think you're going to see a lot more industry from him. I think you're going to see a lot more kind of the third man runs he used to do further forward. But now Bruno's there as well. You've got to remember. So he's going to be playing a deeper role. I think we're going to see well, listen, that's what you used to do at Chelsea. I never used to like him on the right wing, but I think he is a player who United are going to appreciate, and Chelsea fans are going to regret letting go by the end of the season, is what I think.
I'd like to see that, because I'll be honest with you, I've never got the Mount hype.
Neither have I.
No, I've never got it.
He's what? Do you know what? You see what you lot just did there? That's how people were with Henderson. That's exactly some people are like, I don't get it. But then there's some that get it. I'm telling you, Mount is one of those. I think this season people will get it. When he's in that 8 position next to Casemiro, Bruno in front of him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You will see he's the glue.
I want to shout out Billy Gilmore as well.
Okay.
If Caicedo leaves and McAllister's already gone, he's huge next to the new Dortmund midfielder.
Can I have one more as well? Milner? Can I have one more? I just remembered, you lot just signed Malo Gusto.
Yes.
Because Reece James is often injured big chunks of the season, and I think you see a massive drop-off in Chelsea. I think the player they've got there, you're not going to skip a beat. Honestly, I think he is going to be a top talent. He has a few injury issues himself, but having that kind of rotation there, beautiful. I think he's going to be a top talent.
I've heard he's the Diego Costa of defenders. From
he locked up Matoma there.
Listen,
I was
going to say,
he did not let him
if there's
breathe.
ever a debut test,
yeah,
the Matoma test,
safe, man.
You're good. You're good.
He did pass
You'll survive in the league.
Matoma is a tough test to pass. Trust. Ask Joe Gomez.
I was about to say. I was just
Turn
about
Joe
to say.
Gomez into Ice Spice.
I was waiting for it.
Damn.
I got to send that. Damn. But there you go. Expectations. We've all got them coming into August for the new season. But which player or players for your team and in general in the Premier League is going to go beyond that? It's going to show you, actually, you should have been thinking about me a lot more at the start of the season. Boys, thank you so much again for your expert analysis. Matisse, Nicky and Fuad, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you next time.